some while. I've been lost like a balloon in the sky, where I belong, where I always should go when the weather's så. Jag har varit still så länge nu som jag frusit till i tid och rum. Jag vet inte var jag är på väg eller om jag går alls. I don't pretend like I know. I don't pretend like I know where I'm going to. Jag låtsas inte jag vet. Jag låtsas inte att det här är min planet. Men säg, vad är det här jag är till för?
Everyone, and welcome to yet another Winchester Wednesdays. I'm your host, Winchester 572, and I have a head cold. Yeah, so I apologize if my voice kind of ends up sounding like shit, because, yeah, at the moment, I kind of feel like shit. But, yeah, so anyways, tonight we will be finishing 3 Gems on a Scooter. Yeah, Lars will not be with us tonight. He is at Anime Milwaukee. So if any of you guys are in that area, make sure to go check that out. I'm sure that's going to be a fun time. But yeah, so other than that, I guess let us get straight into the call. Hi, call.
Hi. I had ears until you were very loud after that nice, calm song.
Don't make me laugh. It hurts. So, anyways, let me just... There we go. So, yeah. How are y'all doing tonight?
I'm just standing.
Good.
I want to murder the plow and both of the people who parked on the road so the plow didn't actually clear half the road. I'm in a happy mood, you see.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
It's a good thing you're playing an orphan in this fic.
I'm happy. I managed to get the starter in my truck, so.
That's good.
Hello. Is it stream you're looking for?
No.
No, not really.
I managed to get my car back, so that was nice.
So wait, don't we need proper introductions?
No, you guys don't deserve that.
Well, excuse you.
Anyways, starting off, we have my wonderful co-host Crazy Mac Captain and Sky Rays.
Plow needs to die.
I'm very tired.
He may or may not be dead.
Close to death.
He'll be missed.
Truth.
Will he really?
Not really, no.
Alrighty, and next up we have our wonderful fic editor, Double R Forest.
I mean, have you ever tried being on a podcast and playing wordscapes at the same time, all the while dealing with the effects of drinking an orange Malibu too fast? That's how I'm doing right now.
Wordscapes? What's wordscapes?
Just a free game that plays free mobile game.
I don't think I've heard of that before. But next up, let's see, Datsmore. We'll go with you.
Yes, that's me. Yes, I'm here to excite people with my beautiful singing voice. Is there singing?
No.
No? Okay, then never
Scootaloo
mind.
has to give a speech.
That's fine. That's it's not nearly as exciting, but I'll have to just run with it.
Darn. I miss Datsmore's singing voice.
It was a very fantastic week.
I'd say it comes. I mean, it has a little way to work before it reaches the level of a Sora and 4-string imitating drunken singing together.
Well, then I guess we're just gonna have to sing ABCs or Twinkle Twinkle. Maybe even Row 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 Your Boat.
Oh dear,
Wait,
that's gonna
row your
end
boat. We have to do it in a round.
No, we don't.
Just do some
How can we
No,
do
that'd be
it
fun.
around when we're all square?
Sure. And finally, we have Marzi.
You ever think you're wasting your time shoveling snow? Well, stop that. Invest in a 500k BTU flamethrower. And it's an investment for the future. Because, after all the snow's gone, you can use it to burn the weeds and light the barbecue.
Has that been your sales pitch?
Yes.
I feel you're trying to sell me some.
I have a feeling
I have to increase my numbers.
Is trying to sell me something.
Does it involve explosives?
God, I hope so.
Yes.
Oh yes. So, anyways, yeah. Let us get right into the deal here. But first off, just so everybody knows, there is no more opportunity in this solar system. So yeah, so if you guys wanted an opportunity to do something, you're screwed now. Yeah. For those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, the opportunity drone on Mars, or rover on Mars, quit responding to NASA's calls, and NASA sent its final call, and it did not respond today, so...
Oh, that sucks.
And what was the significance of this rover?
It was the last opportunity in the solar system.
Well, there was they put like quite a number of rovers on Mars over the last couple of years, haven't they?
They put
This
two.
was this was
Just two?
the last rover they had on Mars, and this one lasted. What was it? It was like
I remember seeing seeing stuff about the launch of it when I was like in 4th grade or something.
Yeah, this is.
I never really stayed on top of space news, so.
This is the one.
yeah. There we go. It was originally put on Mars back in 2002, and it was expected to only last 90 days, but it ended up continuing for over 15 years.
Wow.
Okay,
Wasn't
then.
it? Didn't they try to get it to land close to the south pole of it to try and help find water?
It's the one that did find water.
Well, I thought it was specifically placed toward the South Pole, toward...
It may have been.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a while since I've actually done the useful reading on that.
Yeah. So, anyways, yes. I also got more guns, because, yay, guns. Yeah.
You're not the only one.
Do you have more shotgun mics now?
Yes.
I now have 2 shotgun mics.
All right.
Yes.
Now 1 second while I unload this.
I was just about to say, remember which one is loaded, sir.
Well, seeing as the other one is currently upstairs,
Every time a shotgun is cocked, my cock goes up too.
Best way to know if Winchester's around, listen for the cock.
Damn right.
that's the only warning you'll
Or,
get.
You know,
If you can hear his cock, you can hear mine.
you got 3 seconds. Oh, shit.
So yes, but no, I got a shotgun, and then I got that long range rifle. So yeah, and this shotgun here, I can fit 15 of these short little 1.25 or 1.75 long rounds in. It's kind of amazing, but yeah. And Marzi got socks with cocks.
No, those are my rain boots.
Oh, she's got boots with cocks. But boots and cocks don't rhyme. It doesn't even work as good as boots and cats. Anyways, enough beating around the bush, I guess. We'll get into our story here. So,
We weren't beating around the bush, we were beating around the cock.
dear God. So, anyways, I like how silent Datsmore's been through this whole thing.
Hey, I'm just doing some light reading on the side.
Yeah. Alrighty, and speaking of reading, here we go. So your narrator tonight will be me, Winchester. Playing Scootaloo and Diamond Tiara will be CMC. Playing Rarity will be Datsmore. Playing Featherdrift, Dr. Sunshine, and Sweetie Belle will be Double R. Skyrays will be playing Rainbow Dash. Marzi will be playing Cheerily and Apple Bloom. And I will also be playing Autumn Wing. 3 Gems on a Scooter by Rylan Kraus. Featherdrift. Scootaloo's dance recital was next Friday. In between school, dance practice, and her now weekly visits to Dr. Sunshine, Scootaloo didn't really have time to dwell on the ticking clock counting down the days till either Rarity inevitably kicked her out or she became officially adopted. Somewhat, to Scootaloo's surprise, Rainbow had followed up her declaration and made a concerted effort to insert herself into Scootaloo's life. Even if said life was a little busier than usual, first her big sister Ish took her out for ice cream. That was pretty okay, after all, every pony likes ice cream. And then the next week, Rainbow had taken her flying, which again was fun. Perched on Rainbow's back, the wind coursing through her mane, her wings spread wide, her eyes closed, it was easy to imagine that she was the one soaring through the air. But both of those experiences were strangely unfulfilling. Lulu wasn't sure why, but both times she felt slightly more hollow afterward than she did before. However, right now she didn't have to wake up until noon tomorrow. After a late However, right now none of that mattered. It was Friday night, there was no homework to be done, and she didn't have to wake up until noon tomorrow. After a late afternoon of crusading, she quickly hurried upstairs to drop her stuff off and have a quick shower. Freshly scrubbed, a light hunger began to gnaw at her, which meant a trip to the kitchen was in order. Upon reaching the bottom of the stairs, she found Rarity wearing a sequin blue evening gown, levitating different pairs of earrings up to her ears.
Why are you all dressed up?
I have a date tonight.
With a colt?
Lulu scrunched her snout.
Yuck.
Just wait until you're older.
Whatever.
Skidloo shrugged. Not being of any use in answering questions of the how do I look variety, she scurried into the kitchen intent on finding a snack to fuel her night of dance practice and horror movies. Rarity spent the next few minutes fussing over her mane in the mirror before the doorbell rang. After giving herself one last check in the mirror, Rarity trotted over to answer the bell. She chucked the door open with an air every bit as tantalizing as her ensemble. On the other side of the door stood a yellow-coated green-maned stallion wearing a black satin bow tie. Trimming her mane, Rarity drew his attention to her most fabulous features.
Well, don't you look quite dashing?
And I may say, you look lovely.
The stallion, Featherdrift, replied, with the faintest hint of cocksure smirk.
I would be hurt if you didn't. So, tell me, where will we be dining this evening?
Featherdrift rested a hoof on the doorframe, leaning in.
I made reservations at Olive's Garden. They're not easy to get, but you're worth it.
The smirk he continued to spot was more than a little off-putting, but Rarity let it slide. Before Rarity could suggest they begin their evening, Skidloo came sprinting out of the kitchen.
Bye, Rarity.
Skidloo gave a wave as she scampered up the stairs. Rarity waved back and turned her attention back to her date.
Who is that?
His tone less friendly than Rarity would have preferred.
Oh, she's my daughter. Her name is Scootaloo, and I'd have invited her, but I thought a nice candlelight dinner for two would be more romantic.
Rarity fluttered her
Fastidiously
mascared eyelashes. Featherdrift stepped back to a more comfortable distance.
I didn't know you had a daughter.
His confident attitude and smirk were long since gone.
Yes, well, I'm sure there are lots of things you don't know about me. That's why we're going to dinner, is it not?
Rarity spoke with what she hoped was an inviting smile.
Oh, you know what? I just remembered that I have to do... Well, there's this thing with my buddy, and I really just forgot about him. He'd be hurt if I didn't show up, and... yeah.
Featherdrift's voice trailed off. He fervently looked around for the quickest pathway from the boutique. Though Rarity was practiced at hiding her emotions, even she couldn't conceal the sting of rejection. Though Featherdrift's chances of a second date had been dwindling by the second ever since he opened the door, Rarity still felt her chest tighten.
Oh, I see. Perhaps we could try this again some other time.
Yeah, I'm pretty busy over the next month, actually, but... well, I'll write you a letter when I'm available.
Sure.
Closing the door, Rarity banished the stain that was feather dust from her eye, though the action did little to assuage her wounded pride. Hearing the door close, Skulu came bounding down the stairs only to find Rarity staring crestfallen at the now empty foyer.
You're still here?
It would appear that I am.
Why?
Would that I knew the answer to that, dear?
Rarity ruminated on why there seemed to be no good stallions in Equestria.
If you don't mind, I think I'd prefer to be alone right now.
Rarity took one last look at the now closed door and began to trudge over to her parlor room and its mini freezer full of ice cream that was soon to be in dire need of restocking. Scootaloo shrugged. She was too young to understand the pain of heartbreak, but she did know what a sad pony looked like. She knew the one in the mirror well. Then, somewhat to her surprise, she got angry as she processed the change of events as she knew them. Rarity was planning on going on a date. She was talking with some guy who probably was her date, and now he was gone and Rarity was sad, which meant that he probably made her sad. That wasn't fair. Some random jerk shouldn't get to make her, Rarity, upset. Scootaloo trotted over and gently hugged Rarity's forelegs.
I'm sorry.
Rarity smiled before lighting up in earnest. As Scootaloo pulled back, Rarity raised the hoof and ran it through Scootaloo's ever-messy mane.
Scootaloo, would you like to go to dinner?
Her brow furrowing, Scootaloo tilted her head just a bit.
Huh?
I believe there is a reservation at Olive's Garden, and it would be a shame to let it go to waste.
Sorry. Italian name?
Italian food.
I don't really like Italian food.
They have things other than spaghetti, dear.
Scootaloo considered the offer. She was looking forward to practicing her routine and then watching Nightmare Night 1 and 2, but Rarity's offer was so tinged with hope that it felt cruel to say no. She remembered what Rarity had said about families not being perfect. Sometimes they fight, and maybe sometimes they did things they didn't really want to do.
Okay.
Rarity's smile brightened.
Splendid, though you will have to put on a dress, I'm afraid.
Scootaloo wrinkled her snout in disgust.
Really?
The childish antic elicited a quick laugh.
Yes, really. Come. I'm sure there must be something in your closet.
After brief deliberation, Scootaloo selected a yellow sundress that she generally didn't hate. Looking at the pair of them in the mirror, Rarity was struck by the marked difference between their body language. Rarity didn't so much wear her dress as much as she allowed it to hang off her body. Half of fashion was confidence, and Rarity's gait led to the conclusion that the dress she was wearing should be so fortunate to be her ensemble for the evening. In contrast, Scootaloo retreated into her dress, using it as a shield between her and the rest of the world. The way she slumped her shoulders and stared at the ground practically screamed, "Isn't my dress nice? Pay no attention to the pony who's wearing it." Rarity gingerly pushed Scootaloo's shoulders back down and lifted her chin up.
The key to fashion is confidence. No matter how you're actually feeling, you should act as though you are the most glamorous mayor in the room.
But what if I don't feel like that?
Scootaloo tilted her neck and tried out her new stance as Rarity gestured to an imaginary audience.
Ah, but they don't know that. That, my dear, is the key to confidence.
Scootaloo studied her reflection in the mirror, and for the first time since she could remember, she didn't feel so bad about the reflection staring back at her. She offered Mirror Scootaloo a smile.
Well, let's go then. We wouldn't want them to give our reservation away.
Dance recital.
How are you?
Scootaloo sighed. Though she was a new patient, she quickly realized that all her visits with Dr. Sunshine would follow the same pattern. First, they would talk about anything that had happened since their last visit. Dr. Sunshine would ask questions, usually along the lines of, "And how did that make you feel?" She never actually uttered that exact phrase. And they would talk about anything Scootaloo had planned for the next few days. And the doctor would ask her how she felt about those things. Finally, the doctor would ask Scootaloo if she had anything else she'd like to talk about, and then if there was any time left, they would build something out of blockos. Despite her penchant for walling herself off, Scootaloo found it hard to hate Dr. Sunshine. It wasn't that she enjoyed answering questions about herself, but the doctor had a way of pulling answers out of her that didn't feel demeaning or patronizing. She was remarkably understanding and never judgmental. Or maybe it was just because for 1 hour a week, Scootaloo knew that her feelings were the most important thing in the room. Furthermore, much to Scootaloo's surprise, she hadn't once brought up anything about Scootaloo's past. Not one word about her birth parents, or her first set of foster parents abandoning her, or any of her subsequent living situations. For the first few visits, Scootaloo was pleasantly surprised that the topic hadn't come up, but now it was beginning to feel like an elephant in the room.
How come we never talk about my birth parents?
Scootaloo blurted out before Dr. Sunshine could ask her next question. Dr. Sunshine looked up from her notebook.
Do you want to talk about your birth parents?
I don't know.
Scootaloo felt momentarily chastised. The doctor turned the page of her notebook and held her pen flush against the page.
We're here to talk about what you think is important. If you think talking about your biological parents will help you move forward, then let's explore that.
Isn't that why I'm here?
Why do you think that?
Oh, come on. I'm an orphan. My parents didn't want me. Nobody else ever wants me, and that's why I'm so messed up. You don't even need a fancy medical degree to know that.
Despite the cheap shot, Dr. Sunshine's face betrayed no emotion.
Remember how we talked about how only you can define who you are?
Yeah, so?
You've had a traumatic experience, of course. It's going to affect you. But it doesn't have to be who you are.
Dr. Sunshine looked directly at Scootaloo as she said it.
But it is who I am.
Why?
The one-word response caused Scootaloo to clench her hooves and dig them into the chair.
What do you mean, why? It's just who I am.
The frustration of having to explain this incredibly obvious fact clearly evident in her tone, Dr. Sunshine moved forward with her line of questioning.
Why do you have to be Scootaloo the orphan? Why not Scootaloo the dancer? Or just plain Scootaloo?
Scootaloo opened her mouth, intent on protesting, but no sound came out.
I think that's something you should think about.
A quick glance at the clock told Dr. Sunshine that their session was nearing its end.
That's enough for today. How about we build something?
Scootaloo nodded, letting out a deep breath and unclenching her hooves, relieved that she didn't need to talk about herself anymore for now. And though the pair did end up constructing a fairly respectable skate park, Dr. Sunshine could easily tell that her patient's mind was ruminating over her last question. Dr. Sunshine's question gnawed at Scootaloo all throughout the next day. Even though her dance recital was tonight, the word why remained at the forefront of her consciousness. It wasn't until she was in costume, backstage, that the fear and excitement of having to perform in front of an audience allowed her to think about something else. Scootaloo peeked out from behind the curtain, not daring to reveal more than the tip of her snout. She quickly scanned the room, recognizing the parents of her classmates amongst the audience members. In the third row, near the center of the room, she saw Rarity and Sweetie Belle, and next to them, Apple Bloom and Applejack. Even further to the left, she saw Rainbow Dash. Scootaloo gasped and quickly retreated back to the safety of the dressing area. Rainbow Dash still stirred conflicting emotions from her. She was happy she was here, nervous about impressing her idol, and angry that Rainbow might think that merely showing up for a dance recital was enough to heal her wounds. The call of "Places, every pony!" rang out, and Scootaloo scrambled to get into position. She was just a background dancer for the opening number. She wasn't in the second at all, and her solo took place in the third. The first two pieces ended quicker than Scootaloo thought they would, and it was her big moment. Her number opened with 5 of her classmates wearing long evening gowns and dancing in a listless waltz. Scootaloo stood backstage wearing a backward baseball cap and oversized jeans and a t-shirt. The tedious music cut out just as Scootaloo jumped into the middle of the stage with a bounding leap, playing their part as the other ponies pretending to be shocked and then quickly tore away their outer layers, revealing similar outfits. According to the plan, she was supposed to nod, giving the signal for the music to start again, and lead the other ponies in a more animated contemporary dance number. The stage felt hard beneath her hooves, and the air all of a sudden grew stale. There was no music, and every pony was staring at her. She took a step forward but stumbled. She quickly caught her balance, but the damage was already done. A faint murmur swept through the crowd. It was the hardest thing Scootaloo could remember doing. She pushed down all the doubt and fear until all that remained was the joy she felt at being good at dancing. It didn't matter that she was terrified and embarrassed. They don't know that. She did an impromptu spin, complete with a small kick of her back hoof. She gave the nod Toe Tapper was waiting for, then she danced. She danced with an enthusiasm that couldn't help but be infectious. The steps came easily, embedded into her muscle memory via hours of practice. It was a smile and sparkle Scootaloo worked hard at maintaining that taxed her efforts. The last drum beat sounded, and Scootaloo finally gave herself permission to drop her guard. The audience burst into thunderous applause, and the smile Scootaloo gave as she took her bow was nothing but genuine.
You were awesome, Squirt.
Rainbow Dash all but squealed as she rushed forward to greet Scootaloo, the rest of the group following close behind. Scootaloo bristled instinctively, her mixed feelings rearing, swirling around in her head.
No, I wasn't. Look, thanks for coming and everything, but I should really get out of my costume.
The 5 ponies exchanged puzzled looks as they tried to figure out why Scootaloo wasn't the same filly they just watched on stage.
Can I talk to the Squirt alone for 1 sec?
Rarity Rainbow broke the tension for a brief moment. The Crusaders and their sisters left, affording Rainbow and Scootaloo some privacy in the corner of the room.
Okay, Scoots. What's the deal?
Nothing, I just need to get out of my costume.
See, that's what I'm talking about. For the past few weeks, you've been blowing me off.
Rainbow paused and bit her lip. In many ways, she and Scootaloo shared a need for external validation.
Is it something I'm doing? Do you not want me to be your sister?
No, I just...
Something Dr. Sunshine had told her echoed in her head. Ponies aren't mind readers. You can't expect them to know how you're feeling if you don't tell them.
It still hurts.
She finally admitted it, both to herself and Rainbow Dash.
What does, Scoots?
Scootaloo found her voice growing louder. Luckily, the din of their surroundings muffled her words.
You didn't want to adopt me. You never did.
That's what this is about?
No, yes, I
don't know what you want from me, Scoots. I thought we had an understanding.
Neither pony said anything. Scootaloo unsure how to respond, and Rainbow Dash unwilling to engage in another round of self-flagellation.
I guess, come find me when you're not mad at me anymore.
How did your dance recital go?
It went okay, I guess. I kind of messed up a bit at the beginning.
What happened?
I stumbled a bit, but finished my solo okay. I just wish I didn't screw up the opening.
I see. Is that why it only went okay?
Scootaloo could have lied. She almost wanted to, but Dr. Sunshine had repeatedly impressed on her the idea that lying would only be hurting herself.
After the show, I kinda yelled at Rainbow Dash.
Dr. Sunshine raised an eyebrow. She had heard a lot about Rainbow Dash from her patient. Even though she was aware that Scootaloo was still processing her feelings, it came more than a little of a surprise that she would yell at her idol.
What did you say?
I told her it hurt that she didn't want to adopt me.
Why did you tell her that now?
Why? Was Dr. Sunshine's favorite question, and Scootaloo had quickly learned that I don't know was not an acceptable answer. A few weeks ago, the idea of Scootaloo being open with her feelings would have been absurd. It was a testament to their progress that Scootaloo could answer the question while limiting her reaction to a slight crack of her voice.
because I'm still mad at her. I always thought she was going to adopt me, and she never even gave me a chance.
Dr. Sunshine consulted her ever-present pad of notes, adding Scootaloo's actions to her base of knowledge.
I see. Do you still want Rainbow to adopt you? You seem to be settling in with Rarity, unless I'm mistaken.
Scootaloo fiddled with the armrest of her chair.
Yeah, no, I know Rainbow isn't going to adopt me, and living with Rarity isn't so bad. It's just, whenever I see her, all I can think about is how she didn't want to even try.
Sounds like it would be difficult to deal with.
You're not going to tell me I'm being unfair.
It's not about being fair. This is about your feelings. You feel mad at her, and that's a perfectly healthy response.
But I don't want to be mad at her. I know she wasn't trying to hurt me.
We often can't control our feelings, Scootaloo. What we can control is how we react to them. If she were here, is there something she could say or do that would make you not mad at her?
Scootaloo considered the question carefully, looking up at the tiled ceiling.
I guess maybe she could explain why she didn't even give me a chance?
She wasn't sure if there was even an explanation that would satisfy her, but it seemed like a place to start at least.
Let me ask you this. Do you think if she did adopt you and it didn't work out, that you wouldn't be mad at her?
Scootaloo considered her feelings towards her other foster parents. She was surprised by the intensity of her reaction. She hadn't really thought about any of them in a while, but as she ruminated, she found herself hit by a deluge of guilt. Her previous foster parents weren't bad ponies, she knew that, and every time she left it was always with angry words. It occurred to her that she couldn't remember saying thank you to any of them. The doctor must have noticed that her question touched a nerve because she didn't press Scootaloo for anything.
It sounds like you're not really mad at her. It sounds like maybe you're a little mad at yourself.
Scootaloo didn't say it.
I think Rainbow reminds you of the other ponies who didn't want to adopt you, and maybe that's why you're having trouble being around her.
It wasn't their fault.
Scootaloo studied her hooves intently. Years of experience had taught Dr. Sunshine what a breakthrough looked like. Though it was different for every pony, she prides herself on being able to read her patients.
It wasn't yours either.
She hoped to gently cajole Scootaloo into exploring more. Scootaloo's head jerked sharply upwards, and she practically shouted her next words.
It had to be some pony's fault.
No, it didn't, Scootaloo. Sometimes no pony does anything wrong and bad things still happen.
It still hurts.
That's okay.
And then Scootaloo had an epiphany that a few weeks ago would have never occurred to her. It was only after accepting that Rarity did care about her, and Sweetabelle did want her to join the family, and that Dr. Sunshine was trying to help her, that Scootaloo was able to reach a breakthrough.
What happened was sad, but I don't have to be sad about it.
Reconciliation. Despite her breakthrough, Scootaloo realized very quickly that there was a very large gulf between knowing you didn't have to be sad and actually not being sad. For so long, Scootaloo carried around her sadness as a perverse shield. Though she thought of letting it go was oddly frightening, she took the long way back, using the occasion to think about her life in Ponyville, her friends, and her time with Rarity. She opened the back door of the Carousel Boutique and stepped inside. Taking a moment to look around the now familiar kitchen, Scootaloo felt an odd sensation. Spurred by an unknown motivation, she opened the silverware drawer to find her set left right where she left it. She looked over at the drying rack next to the sink where the plate she had breakfast on was now clean and ready for another meal. Without needing to go upstairs, she knew that her scooter was in the corner and that her bed was neatly made, complete with the fluff pillows and maybe a mint. The familiar whir of a sewing machine told her that Rarity wasn't busy with a customer. She peeked through the door and took a moment to study the pony, who was one step away from becoming her actual family. Rarity was wearing her red cat-eye glasses as she pushed the shiny piece of green silk through her sewing machine. Her horn was illuminated as a separate silver spool of thread hovered nearby, feeding into the thread guide. Beneath the din of the machine, she could almost hear Rarity humming a jaunty tune. Lulu took a few steps forward, but Rarity's work commanded all her attention. She made it halfway across the room before Rarity noticed her. Rarity glanced up from her half-finished dress to see Scootaloo standing in the middle of the room, staring at her with an expression that could only be described as quizzical.
Are you okay, dear?
Scootaloo stumbled forward, closing the rest of the distance, and grabbed onto Rarity's forelegs in an awkward hug. Rarity repeated her question, her concern now growing.
Did something happen?
Scootaloo shook her head, and Rarity could feel a soft cheek rubbing against her foreleg. She didn't elaborate, because what could she possibly say that would mean anything? She kept hugging until she realized it didn't matter how long she stayed there. Rarity was perfectly content to reciprocate the gesture. And at that realization, she felt lighter. It wasn't that she instantly let go of her past. It was still there, weighing on her subconscious, but for the first time she felt capable of carrying it. Scootaloo let go and looked up to see Rarity patiently smiling down at her. Rather than pry any further or attempt to unpack Scootaloo's spontaneous outpouring of affection, Rarity turned her attention to the more immediate concern.
Perhaps we should have barley soup for dinner?
I'd like that. And could we maybe go visit Rainbow Dash tomorrow?
The next morning, Scootaloo found herself at Rainbow's front door as Rarity stood a respectful distance behind her. Thanks to a cloud-blocking spell learned from Twilight, she rang the bell and waited what seemed like an hour for Rainbow to answer the door. Not used to unannounced visitors, Rainbow wore the faintest hint of a scowl as she flung open the door, but it quickly dissipated when she saw who was standing there.
Hi.
Rainbow glanced at Rarity, who gave her friend a reassuring nod.
Hi, Scoots.
I never said thank you for coming to my dance recital.
Well, maybe I kinda sorta flew out there before you got the chance to.
There was a tension-filled break before Rainbow spoke again.
Is that what you came to tell me?
And then came the moment Scootaloo had been playing over and over again in her mind. Since yesterday, Scootaloo shook her head.
I don't think I'm mad at you.
Rainbow Dash burst into a smile, one which faded when she noticed Scootaloo's downcast expression.
But
I guess it still hurts. I mean, I know it's not your fault, but...
Scootaloo,
No, I get it. Things are...
Scootaloo glanced backwards at Rarity for a second.
good. Better, at least. I know it's not fair, but I always thought you'd adopt me, and I think maybe that I never really considered you didn't want to.
it wasn't about that.
But it kind of was, wasn't it? I've got to think that if we had the same parents, you'd want me... tongue. You'd want me with you... wording. You'd want me with you before you'd let... Can someone else tell me that this feels very wrongly worded?
It's correctly worded.
Okay, just...
You'd want me to read it for you?
No,
If we had the same parents, you'd want me with you before you'd let me move all the way to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Chester.
Rainbow looked at the ground, her eyes decidedly misty with tears.
I don't know. I honestly don't know, Scoots. I didn't want you to leave, you know that, right?
I know, and I'm thankful you were there at the recital. I want you to be at things with me. Dr. Sunshine says that it's good to take some time to process things. I think that this is one of those things.
Rainbow didn't know who Dr. Sunshine was, and that knowledge just added to the gulf between what she thought she knew about Scootaloo and what she actually did know.
Okay, I get that. So, what do you want me to do?
A few months ago, the answer would have been, adopt me. A few weeks ago, Scootaloo wouldn't have been able to answer the question.
I want you to be my sister. If you still want to, that is.
You bet I do, Squirt. Maybe if it's okay with Rarity, we could go flying. I'm not doing anything today.
Scootaloo's smile returned.
I'd like that. Can I go, Rarity?
Of course, dear. Just be home before dinner. And you, Rainbow Dash, promise to be careful.
Dash grinned at Rarity.
Now, where's the fun in that? I'll catch her if she falls, you know that.
A bit of red touched Rarity's cheeks.
Yes, quite.
Thanks, Rarity.
Scootaloo turned her gaze up to Dash, whose smug grin fell into a genuine smile.
Yeah, really, Rarity, thanks.
Rarity dismissed it with an airy wave of her hoof.
You two enjoy yourselves. I'm certain you have plenty of catching up to do.
A few weeks later, Scootaloo found herself sitting in class when Cheerilee made an announcement.
Okay, class. As you all know, Family Appreciation Day is coming up. For this year's celebration, I want you all to write a report about a family member that you're going to read aloud at a big celebration in Ponyville's amphitheater.
The class buzzed with excitement, some students nervous about speaking in front of so many ponies, others wondering who they should pick as their subject.
Miss Cheerilee?
Diamond asked with a smile and a raised hoof as the class quieted down.
Can our report be about any pony, or does it have to be some pony who's actually related to us, like by birth?
Your report has to be about a family member, Diamond. You don't have to be related by birth to be family.
Diamond nodded.
Okay, I was just wondering, because it seems like if some pony isn't related to you, they really can't be family.
Diamond spoke with a crocodile smile and the faintest hint of a glance toward Scootaloo.
Families come in all shapes and sizes, Diamond. Please see me after class.
Of course, the whole class knew the phrase, "see me after class," with the thinly veiled code for, "you're getting punished."
But Miss Cheerilee, I was only trying to clarify what you meant.
No, you weren't, Diamond. See me after class.
Cheerilee spoke with authority born of years of teaching. One simply did not argue with Cheerilee when she adopted that tone. Her message delivered, Cheerilee again smiled and continued her lesson plan on some of Equestria's early Family Appreciation Day traditions. But even though Diamond was getting punished for her obvious dig, Scootaloo found it hard to concentrate. While the rest of the class quickly hurried out for lunch and recess, Scootaloo lingered behind.
Miss Cheerilee?
Yes, Scootaloo?
Do I have to do a report for Family Appreciation Day?
From a different student, Cheerilee might have assumed the question was meant as an excuse to get out of homework, or from Scootaloo, the question was not as unreasonable. One, Cheerilee had a working knowledge of Scootaloo's home life, and though she wasn't privy to all the details, she knew enough to realize that this wasn't a student simply trying to get out of an assignment. Scootaloo had been excused the other family holidays, newborn celebration day among them, but this report wasn't an osterous one. It didn't require a deep bond or intimate knowledge of a family member. Shirley mainly wanted to use the holiday as a chance for students to practice their public speaking skills.
Why don't you want to?
She asked, hoping to understand her student a little better. Skulu struggled with her answer. It was more complicated than she was willing to admit herself.
I haven't been living with Rarity very long, and I don't want to bother her more than I already have.
All you have to do is talk to her, like what she likes, her favorite books, those sort of things. It's not that big a deal.
No, I guess it's not.
Skulu was forced to concede. The real reason Skulu didn't want the report, it felt like a public declaration that she had a family. And despite everything, she still wasn't entirely sure that she had really truly found one. It was one thing to have a place to stay, but quite another altogether to announce to the world that she said a place was home. And what if Rarity didn't like her report? What if Sweetie wanted to write hers about Rarity too? Shirley considered her options. She wasn't about to excuse Skulu from the assignment, but she also didn't want any assignment she gave to make her students uncomfortable.
You have to do a report, Scootaloo, but if you'd like, you can give yours about Princess Celestia or Princess Luna. There's lots of books in the library about both of them. If you'd like that, does that sound fair?
Skulu breathed out a sigh of relief and nodded. Public speaking didn't really bother her. Publicly declaring she had a family did. The end. Not the actual end, but...
You heard him, folks. It's we can all go home. It's the end.
Nope, we got a little more here. One look at the massive tome detailing the history of the two sisters was all Skulu needed to decide that asking Rarity a few simple questions was the more preferable option for completing her assignment. It had been 2 weeks since Shirley had given out the assignment, and at first, Skulu's procrastination was just the garden variety scootering is more fun than homework kind. But one way or the other, Family Appreciation Day was approaching, and Skulu was expected to say something about some pony.
Hey, Rarity.
Skulu set her notebook on the kitchen counter as Rarity peeled carrots for dinner.
Yes, dear?
Can I ask you some questions? It's for school.
She quickly clarified, lest Rarity thought that this was something else. Rarity called over her shoulder.
Of course, dear. Ask away.
Skulu looked down at her list of prepared inquiries she planned to use to flesh out her report.
What's your favorite color?
Rarity stopped peeling and brought a hoof to her chin.
Well, that is a complicated question. My favorite color depends entirely on the context.
Rarity was about to launch into an explanation of lighting and complementary colors when she noticed Skulu rolled her eyes.
Aubergine. My favorite color is aubergine.
Rarity may have said, "My favorite color is table," for all Skulu understood. Orange was a color, so were blue and red. Some colors have more descriptive names like pearl or aquamarine, but Skulu didn't know what aubergine was, much less what the spectrum of light it reflected.
What's that?
Rarity levitated a spool of ribbon from a nearby spool in the parlor room.
This is aubergine. I find it highlights most other colors as well as being bold enough to stand on its own without being garish.
Skulu squinted at the ribbon in front of her. Try as she might to be open to the possibility that there was something Rarity saw that she didn't, she couldn't make herself see anything other than the obvious.
Can't I just say purple?
Rarity recoiled in shock, if not indignation.
Most certainly not. How would you feel if I called your scooter a tricycle?
That's silly. My scooter isn't a tricycle.
And aubergine isn't purple.
Rarity's favorite color is aubergine. Scootaloo wrote in her notebook.
What's your favorite food?
Well, again,
Scootaloo stopped herself before Scootaloo could change her mind about reading the massive tome about the two princesses.
just say ice cream. Chocolate, if you must be specific.
There were a few more questions encompassing other things Rarity liked, Fluttershy singing and roses being among them. And then Scootaloo left confident enough to write her report, but it wasn't until after dinner Scootaloo pulled out her chair and sat at her desk. My family. A week later, Scootaloo sat in her assigned seat with two reports. The first one she had written quickly. It was pretty boilerplate. Rarity likes fashion and ice cream. One neat thing about her is that she is an element of harmony. They like to make barley soup together, etc., etc. Scootaloo knew she could read that and get a passing grade. She might even get a note about trying a little harder next time, but she would pass and every pony would forget her report as soon as the next presenter started. Her second report was different. It didn't mention barley soup or the element of generosity. She knew Cheerilee would love it, but she wasn't entirely sure how the audience would react, and that's who it was meant for. There were a lot of fillies and colts in the audience, most of whom she knew, some of whom went to other schools or were homeschooled. What if none of them was like her? Or one of them was like her, desperately searching for some kind of family? And what about all the adults watching? Maybe they were considering adopting. Surely they should hear how much it might mean to a child to finally find a home. Didn't she have some sort of responsibility to share her experience so others could learn from it? Her thoughts were interrupted by a familiar voice.
Up next, we have Scootaloo. Let's all give her a round of applause.
Hesitating for one last second, she grabbed the second one between her teeth and walked right up to the lectern. The paper shook slightly as she placed it down on the slanted surface.
My family. My family is Rarity and Sweetie Belle. Rarity is my mom. I don't know who my birth mom is, but Rarity cooks me dinner every night, tucks me in when I ask her to. She walks me home from my dance lessons, and she makes sure that I do my homework. She likes chocolate ice cream. Sometimes Pony asks me who my real mom is and if I ever wonder what she's like. I don't like those questions. Rarity takes care of me, and that makes her my real mom. Sweetie Belle is my sister, and we're not really related either. I guess we could be since I don't know who my birth parents are, but I'm pretty sure they're not Sweetie's parents. Sweetie is Rarity's birth sister, if that counts for anything. Anyway, even though she's not my birth sister, she's always been there for me when I need her. And we do lots of fun stuff together. That makes her my sister, even if we do have different parents.
The words on the page began to blur and Scootaloo went.
I know my family isn't like a lot of other families, and that we haven't been a family for very long. But for a long time, I didn't have any family. I tried to convince myself that I was just fine without one, but I wasn't. I was sad all the time because I thought no one loved me. But then I found this one. Our life isn't perfect. Sometimes we fight and yell at each other, but I'm pretty sure that even when we do fight, they love me. And I don't know what I would do without them. Because that's what family is. Ponies who love you no matter what. So on this Family Appreciation Day, I just wanted to say that I'm glad I finally have a family to appreciate.
Scootaloo ended her report and dared to look up from the lectern. As soon as she saw the sea of ponies staring back at her, she realized she had made a horrible mistake and now was standing in front of a room full of ponies who knew how weak she was. The room began to shrink and her heart started pounding. One thought pushed any others down. She had to leave. immediately. Not even bothering to pick up her support, she sprinted as fast as she could toward the stage wings, intent on slipping out the back door and hurrying down the road all the way to the Everfree Forest. The audience burst into thunderous applause, but Scootaloo could barely hear it over the thumping in her chest. Before she could reach the exit, she heard a familiar voice.
Scootaloo!
Scootaloo turned to see Rarity waiting by the side of the entrance, which didn't make sense, seeing as how Rarity had been in the audience. Scootaloo sprinted towards the exit the very instant her speech had ended. That meant the only way Rarity could be backstage now is if she left before the speech ended, which she would only do if she knew Scootaloo well enough to predict her overwhelming need to flee. It was pure instinct that drove Scootaloo into the waiting forelegs of the pony she just spoke about, instinct that told her within that embrace she was safe and loved. Nothing else mattered. The roar subsided and a voice said something about taking a brief recess, but Scootaloo wasn't sure. She was too busy clinging to Rarity for dear life. Out in the audience, even Diamond Tiara clapped, though perhaps not as enthusiastically as her classmates.
I'm sure that wasn't easy for you.
Rarity looked down. Scootaloo shook her head.
I'm very proud of you, dear.
Scootaloo felt a reassuring squeeze.
You're pretty sure I love you?
The question was asked with a raised eyebrow, the beginnings of a smile.
Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure you love me too.
Thanks, Mom.
You're most welcome, Pumpkin.
I think I'm still gonna call you Rarity.
I shall probably still call you Scootaloo.
I'm okay with that.
Splendid.
Out of the corner of her eye, Rarity saw a white and yellow blur racing towards them.
Sorry, I thought it was my last line already. I do believe we're about to have company.
In the span of half a second, Scootaloo found herself as the filing in a Crusader's hug sandwich. Sweetie on her left and Applebloom on her right. She took a moment to awkwardly attempt to acknowledge the gesture. Without warning, Applebloom slugged her in the shoulder.
Hey, what was that for?
'Cause you said you didn't think anyone loved you. We love you, you know it.
You know what I meant.
Both Maries turned to Sweetie Belle, looking to her to cast the deciding vote.
Sorry, Applebloom. I've got to side with my niece on this one.
I'm not calling you Auntie Sweetie Belle.
Scootaloo launched herself full throttle at Sweetie. From their discussion divulged into general scrum as Rarity watched with a smile. Thanks to Autumn's wholehearted recommendation, as well as calling in a few favors, the last few months of Rarity's fostering were waived in favor of granting immediate full custody. All that was left was the signing of the adoption papers. Theoretically, Rarity, Scootaloo, and Autumn could have just signed the papers at the full services office or the boutique. But this was a celebratory event, and a happy occasion in Ponyville were pretty much legally mandated to be accompanied by Pinkie Pie, sanctioned and planned parties. The boutique was closed for the afternoon and decorated with as many balloons as could comfortably fill the space. A big banner hung above the doorway, reading congratulations in gold letters. A buffet table with fruit and cake combined, decorated with flowers donated by Lily and Trouble. Housed refreshments. After the guests had arrived, with everyone watching, Rarity magically grabbed a pen and signed her name with a flourish, holding the paper aloft and presenting it to the world. The assembled crowd burst into applause. Music began to play and the crowd dispersed, some moving towards the refreshments, others hoping to get a chance to offer well wishes in person. Paper stowed in its saddlebag, Autumn began slowly moving towards the door, taking one last moment to take in the scene. He had heard his colleagues describe these moments as bittersweet, but he never really understood that. For him, there was really nothing melancholy about closing a file. It was the best part of his job. In some ways, the only redeeming part. It signaled that he had succeeded in making a child's life better. What was bittersweet about that? He was about to open the door and quietly slip away when he felt a tug on his tail.
You're leaving?
Lulu looked up at him with wide eyes. Autumn nodded, accompanying the gesture with a shrug. I have the signed papers. Everything's 100% official now. Nothing left for me to do.
I guess this means I'm not going to see you anymore.
There was an idiom around the Office of Full Services, sort of a dark humor that said, once you've closed the file, you never wanted to see that child again. Unspoken truth being, if you did, meant something had gone horribly wrong. Tom didn't share the joke with Scootaloo, but it did quickly run through his head. The harsh truth was that he didn't want to see Scootaloo again, at least not in any official capacity. Their journey had been longer than most, and it had appeared to have been a happy ending. Used to trauma, he didn't dare imagine how hard it would be for both of them if he had to reopen Scootaloo's file. A glance at Rarity could only be described as beaming as she talked to her friends, reassured him. I'm not going anywhere. My office is going to be right where you left it. If you have another dance recital, I'll be right there clamping for you. Scootaloo didn't look convinced, her eyebrows narrowing. Okay, you're right. Things will be different from now on. My job was always to find you a family. I know it wasn't easy as you would have liked it, but we did it. Now it looks to me like it's a pretty good one. Scootaloo took a look at the assembled guests, her gaze lingering on Rarity and Sweetie Belle.
Yeah, they are pretty great.
She looked up at her case officer / sort of friend and gave a regretful grimace.
I never said thank you.
You never have to. Just doing my job. Scootaloo shook her head.
No, I do. Family is ponies who care about you. I know that now. And I think maybe if you didn't care about me, I wouldn't have found such a great one. So maybe, in a way, you were kind of my family.
Autumn brushed the comment away with a flick of his hoof before it could take root. Nah, you're pretty special. I never thought, even for one moment, I wouldn't be able to find you a great home. It was a lie, but it was the kind of lie ponies told because the truth was unnecessary.
Thank you.
Now it was Autumn's turn to shake his head. Okay, that's enough of that. Why don't you run along and enjoy your party? And Scootaloo did.
Yay!
And here's the real ending!
James has muted because he's probably crying.
Breathing, because it does take
He was crying.
Well, no, it takes a heavy
Oh, come on!
focus like that. Now, the words were fastidiously and onerous.
Yes.
What's going on? What am I missing?
He's typing big the N words at the end of the document.
Oh, I've got myself set to viewing, so it doesn't even show that.
No, I'm. Oh.
I can see it.
Well,
I have view only.
No, as an editor, when you go to view
oh my god, now he's
you're
doing
set
like
to-
74.
you're set to
400
96.
96 and I went up to 400.
I got a big boner.
No, I can get bigger.
How about you put your money where your mouth is?
That's all I see at the end. Just Boner. Okay.
Oh, bigger. Oh,
It
Wait,
can
sh-
get bigger. Oh my god.
Okay.
like I said, put your money where your mouth is, man.
Oh God.
You guys.
So,
Damn right, Commander.
hey, at least all that waited for the end. Oh God. Okay. So, yeah. So I guess, unfortunately, Dad's more had to duck out early. But yeah. Well, that went well.
With that, he offered shout-outs to Winchester 571, his evil twin brother.
No, shout out to Winchester 001 through Winchester 571. Apparently, we're going at this like the Firestorm clones.
God.
And literally only one person in this whole chat will know what I'm talking about.
Hey, Skyriders, what are you doing?
What?
And then Scoodler died. The end. I wonder how she died.
We're all gonna die.
No.
Oh, it was a long journey, but this was a beautiful story.
Hey,
So,
The wordings sometimes
of syphilis.
felt
yeah.
So,
The wordings were correct, CMC. You were just tripping over yourself.
exactly because it's something where I would have to hear the line said in the right way to get it done right, and it's something where you have to read it 50 times to get it right.
I had to read.
Because, yeah,
Place and
Just-
charger. Uh-oh.
trying to get the right emphasis on the right words in the right ways is weird. Because, heck,
He did.
you gotta put the right emphasis on the right syllable.
No.
Yes!
I keep all the tools
Yes!
in my car incognito.
I don't
Is
know
it
if
bad that I
everybody
just
knew
drank
this
3/4 of a bottle of whiskey and about
No.
a shot of another liquor and I'm not feeling it yet?
It'll be fine. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a problem.
emphasis on the right syllable. I believe that's a joke from Music Man?
Maybe you would be feeling something right now.
He's a Music Man!
Maybe I'd be feeling something right now for what?
If you didn't drink it so often.
I haven't had any. Well, okay. The last few days, I've kind of. I think I've went through 4 bottles of Crown in the last 4 days.
Hey, that's it right there.
But
You're probably still drunk from those.
no.
You just can't tell anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's put it this way: I didn't get fired from my job yet, which may have partially been a goal. Yeah. But anyways, before I say something that I shouldn't on stream, yeah. So, anyways, yeah. I guess we don't have much more here to discuss. We will now be deliberating to find out what our next story is. One interesting note that I've kind of been paying attention to. So does anyone remember the very first fic that we ever read on this stream?
I wasn't here at the beginning of the stream, so.
Double R was not. I think the only person who might was CMC, and that is Playing With My Heart. That Vinyl Scratch and Octavia fic, where Octavia got nearly killed by a falling stage light. Which is looking more and more. It's looking more and more likely with all the fucking cons that I do.
I remember that one. Okay.
So-
what's around for that?
So they finally released another chapter of it. I do intend to read them on stream, but I'm waiting for the last chapter. Supposedly there's 2 more chapters, or 1 more chapter after this one. So we'll have 2 chapters to read of that. But yeah, so
Well, then we'll have to wait until we'll have to wait and start another story until then.
And fun fact, that fan fiction I've actually gotten permission from the author to actually read. So, because I just so happened to meet this author, Obab Scribbler, at BronyCon and asked her if it was okay if we read these. So yeah.
Okay then.
And she was just like, yeah, sure. So yeah, and then I think she was a little bit confused because I was standing back behind Ardale's booth helping him sell things and getting a massage.
What?
Yeah, Ardale gives out massages.
Yeah. He loves touching big burly men, which is a bit weird, but
okay, before we're indicting my friends. Okay, I think I'm gonna call it here. So we'll do shout outs. So we'll start with Marzi because I feel she's the safest.
Shout outs to big burly men.
All right, not as safe as I thought. On to double R's, who I feel is slightly less safe.
What? Oh, it's my turn? Shoutouts to Feather Dick. Feather Drift. That man was a dick.
No, Feather Dick. That man was a feather. Or drift.
Throwing a hot dog in an alleyway.
Oh, alrighty. And speaking of throwing a hot dog in a highway, we have Skyrays.
Fuck you.
That's shout.
If
If only you had the opportunity, could have avoided all the sexual tension that treachery.
Shout outs to Raylan Cryos for creating the story and for finishing it. And shout outs to Winchester 572, the predecessor of 001 to 571. Finally, there's a Winchester good enough to get back rubs from Ardale.
Yeah, because he just fits into Ardale's big burly men king.
And one more thing, as far as the hiatus goes with the stream, between the time that of now and finding a new reading and whenever we actually start the reading, I plan on trying a few different things for the stream with Winchester and the rest of the crew, ranging from stories to multiplayer games and doing interactive stories and whatnot. So
We also do foot massages and Swedish massages.
Alrighty!
Yes, but we're gonna get more like how we did that Soma and a call thing, so that we can have nice, quick reaction times rather than watching the stream and having 30-second delayed reactions.
And one of the things that I want to try doing is in more open play games where I am playing alone, the viewers and the watchers can both give me basically choices on what to do. So if you guys want me to go full on evil mode and kill off a bunch of children Anakin style, okay.
I actually have to gain hatred.
Go hug the Death Claw. Go hug the Death Claw. Go hug
Good
the
luck
Death
with
Claw.
that.
Find
We don't have the
milk
viewer
and go
base,
find
I've
the Death
tried.
Claw.
But anyways.
We need more of the quest for milk.
Shout out.
Shout out to Big Billy Man.
Alrighty. And next up, Commander something, shoutouts.
He's not in.
Shush!
He'll
you
probably
skipped
type
somebody.
some shoutouts in a bit
He
here.
skipped CMC.
No, I want Commander something to get a shoutout. Because he deserves a shoutout.
Not coming back. Shout out to the sane Winchester.
There's a sane Winchester? I don't think there is.
I'm scared to know what that is.
Maybe that
Forever.
was
Yeah.
maybe that was
He left.
Panic to stop mass panic, dumbass.
The sane Winchester is still in Phoenix, Arizona.
the alpha version.
No, he's not.
I thought he was in Scottsdale.
Phoenix, whereas he's under. He's been buried. You murdered him.
Scottsdale is like a suburb of Phoenix. So, but anyways, and last but not least, on to CMC.
Yes. fires, explosions, LOE, Roan, Brain.
You forgot venison jerky.
We did shout out to Rylan Cryos, the writer of the story.
Mm-hmm.
Shouts out to this beautiful story. Yeah.
You
It
like
has
the
the
story?
it had a right, well, for a heartstring puller, it had the right way of doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, we all liked the story legitimately, though, right?
I really
Yes.
Same here.
It was-
I really enjoyed it too.
Yep, I did good with this.
never.
Awkward silence.
All right, so it's Winchester's turn. If
I
he stopped,
suppose.
you just downed the whole bottle, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, I mean,
I still have a little bit left.
And shouts out to
Alright.
venison jerky because
Blur.
venison jerky.
Speaking of
Negative
venison jerky,
shouts
I'm eating some right now.
Negative shouts out to plows and people parking on the street when the
So,
Winchester, it's your turn.
all right, since
Yeah, I didn't
Double
get
R
plowed
is
either.
yelling
I mean,
at
my
me
street
that I'm
didn't get
supposed to do
plowed
my
either.
shout-outs, even though everybody's talking over me while I'm trying to do them.
What do you mean? I don't know
Yes,
We only care about Winchester
shout-outs
571.
to
I'm sorry.
Dungeons and Dragons, the game that I can't play because I don't have any friends near me that want to play it.
You can play it online. There's
Negative-
Roll20 or tabletop.
Yeah, but nobody's ever willing to let me join. The one person who has asked lived in Australia, and our times didn't match up. And it was not like it. But yeah, so yeah. Negative shoutouts to Ford for being the vehicle that I've owned for the least amount of time and had the most issues with out of any vehicle I've ever owned, except for that Suzuki.
What you're saying is you
Ford
don't-
sucks. Yeah.
Found
But yeah,
That's what I said.
other than that, yeah. Shout outs to Amkey for going on right now. Woo. Good luck,
What's
Lars and
Amkey?
Senchi. You guys will knock it out of the park, I'm sure. I like how I'm gesturing towards my camera, even though it's not on. Yeah, shout outs to Nebraska gun laws, because they're a lot better than Illinois' gun laws, from what I've been
Shut
learning.
up! No, we are not talking about the evil predecessors known as liberal. I mean, no
Okay,
politics.
before we
Don't you
go off
bring
on a
politics
tangent,
into
a
this
political
chat.
tangent that gets us in trouble. And yes, yeah, you'll need those Ford for every walk home shoes. But yeah, so and thanks to all of you for coming out and watching the stream. I know I saw Clouded Draconicus there early, and yeah, I see
We
Tokoi just
had
showed up.
Toa and Not Till MC in the Twitch chat.
Well, cool. So yes, good to see all of you, and I wouldn't be surprised if that unidentified would happen to be Commander, but who knows? He might not even sign in. So, without further ado, everybody say goodbye.
Bye.
not realize this was 9 minutes long. Thank you all for showing up. This is Winchester 572 going 10-7. I'm out. Bye-bye.